Hello, got a little test for you. It's going to seem really stupid until I explain it. I don't want you to think about it, okay? Just do it first, alright? Don't think, just do it, okay? Find something across the room, or as far away from where you're sitting as possible. At least 10 feet or so, okay? Point to it. Cover the tip of your finger, whether you're right-handed or left-handed. Cover up the tip of your finger over whatever little small object is across the room, okay? Now close one eye, okay? Now close the other eye. Now which eye that you close, if your finger shifts, that's your non-dominant eye, okay? Do it again, re-verify. Use the other hand, okay, right hand or left. Point to something across the room, tiny and small. Cover your index finger over it, okay? Close one eye. If your finger is still over that object, that's your dominant eye. One thing that some newbie photographers do, they're actually brought up this way, due to writing styles, but there's an enormous amount of influences. But I used to fit eyeglasses. I grew up, was really young, working in an optical store, working the back on the lensometer, and I used to grind down lenses, and I used to fit people's contacts and glasses. And anyway, this is about which eye dominance you have and where you're looking through your viewfinder. You actually see some people that are squinting when they're looking through their viewfinder. You shouldn't have to do that. The same thing actually applies both in archery and also applies in shooting. I used to give shooting instructions on people on how to improve their target shooting or their handgun shooting. I've got a little 10-acre shooting range about 15 miles from here, and to take 2 or 3 people out there and give them lessons on how to improve their shooting, improve technique, about drift shooting. And anyway, all this applies to photography and your shooting. Now you need to ask yourself, what eye is it that you're actually putting up to your camera? Is it your dominant eye or is it your non-dominant eye? Now the percentage of what this applies to people so far as photography shooters, I'm actually guessing it's probably in the ballpark of maybe 10 to 15%. So it's really not that great. But some people have issues when they're shooting through a viewfinder. I've had a few people ask me recently, so they said, "Oh, I saw you shooting, showing us some new grip techniques. I saw that you had both eyes open." He said, "Why are you doing that? I mean, I always, I'm doing this number," and you see a lot of photographers do that. But you first need to ask yourself, are you shooting as a new photographer, maybe you're an advanced amateur, are you actually shooting with your dominant eye? And that's a really good question. And as is often the case, it may not be the case, but as is often the case, you have the eye closed that is the dominant eye that is trying to overwhelm your shooting. Now I'm left eye dominant. People have actually seen me hold up the camera like so, and they've seen that my right eye is open. I've had more than a few people ask me this. And that prompted the premise for this video, needing to ask you whether you are shooting through the viewfinder by using your dominant or your non-dominant eye. So once again, point something across the room, tip your finger, cover it, close one eye, okay? Whichever eye that is open, if your finger is shifted away from that, that's your non-dominant eye. Whichever finger obviously is over, whatever it is you're pointing at, over across the room, that is your dominant eye. Now, if you're shooting with your non-dominant eye, it probably is the case, I'm willing to bet, 99% of the time, that you're doing this number. Say I am right eye dominant, which I'm not, I'm left eye dominant, and you're a right eye dominant shooter, and you're doing this number, and your left eye is like this, right? It's going to take you a week or two to get used to, but you need to take some strong considerations to shifting. There are a long list of reasons why you need to be shooting through your viewfinder with your dominant eye. As I said, this doesn't apply to a lot of people, but 10% is a significant amount, so I'm surprised nobody mentioned this before. And certain people were taught, that their dads said, they gave them a camera when they were young. It's like, no, hold it over your left eye. But your dad didn't know which was your dominant eye, so you grew up putting the camera up to your wrong eye, because dad's dominant eye is not your dominant eye, okay? My dominant eye is my left eye. That's why my right eye is always open when I'm shooting. The same thing is true of tactical shooter, like Navy SEALs, Delta Force, all these people that are tactical shooters. If they are ever shooting with their non-dominant, and they're doing this number with their handgun or their rifle, they have to have situational awareness to the maximum peripheral vision that they have. And keeping one eye closed because they're shooting with their non-dominant eye will get them or one of their teammates killed. So one of the first things that is actually taught both by the Marines and Navy SEAL, and they would never make it to a Navy SEAL without getting through this fact, is that you have to be shooting with your dominant eye, because you have to have situational awareness and peripheral vision. And all of this regarding their shooting is also applicable to photography. Your composition can suffer, your shooting speed can suffer, so you needed to figure out whether you are or are not shooting with your dominant eye. Anyway, it's an important point. I'm surprised nobody's mentioned it until now, and I'm actually surprised I didn't think about it until just this second, but I actually got reminded about that because a few people had mentioned, why is your other eye open when you're showing us those shooting techniques? And I thought, well, you know, this is something else that I bet some people are doing wrong. They're actually shooting through the viewfinder with their non-dominant eye. Anyway, thanks for watching.